Have you ever felt like you're trying to test pure chaos? Because that's exactly what it can feel like for QA professionals working with AI. In this explainer, we're going to demystify AI testing. We'll show you how to bring order to that chaos and do it systematically and repeatably. Okay, let's just jump right into the big question. If you're working with large language models, you know this feeling deep in your bones. You're trying to validate a system that can give you a completely different answer every single time, even to the exact same prompt. And it's not a bug, right? It's literally a feature. So how do you build confidence in that? How do you ship a product that is designed from the ground up to be non-deterministic? And this quote, this is the #1 frustration we hear. When you're just manually typing prompts into a chat window, it feels impossible. How do you cover all your bases? The whole process isn't repeatable, it's an absolute nightmare to document, and forget about building a comprehensive report. It's just not going to happen. This kind of manual ad hoc testing, it just doesn't scale. So let's break down exactly why that traditional manual approach completely falls apart when it comes up against modern AI. Yeah, the old way is just fundamentally broken for this new world. It's painfully slow, which makes it incredibly repetitive, and worse, because the AI's output is inconsistent by nature, your manual tests are impossible to repeat reliably. This turns your documentation into a total mess and makes any kind of comprehensive reporting a fantasy. You simply can't have real confidence in what you're releasing to your users. So what's the answer? Well, it all starts with a pretty fundamental shift in how we think about the entire process. We need a whole new philosophy for AI quality. And that new philosophy is called test-driven prompt engineering. It's a structured approach that totally flips the script. So instead of just writing prompts and, seeing what happens, you define your success criteria first. You start treating your prompts just like code. They can and absolutely should be tested in a reliable, automated way. And the workflow itself, it's systematic and actually wonderfully iterative. First, you define your test cases. What does a good response actually look like for you? Then you configure an evaluation to measure that definition of good. You run it, you analyze the results to see where the model is falling short, and then you refine your prompts and you do it all again. You repeat that cycle until you have rock-solid confidence in how the system is performing.
Okay, let's get out of the clouds of theory and get practical. Let's see how a tool like Promptfoo can actually bring this systematic workflow to life.
So Promptfoo is this really powerful open-source tool designed specifically for this job. It lets you build structured, automated test suites that can evaluate a whole bunch of prompts against a whole bunch of different AI models all at once. This is how you escape that chaos of manual testing and start getting consistent, measurable results. Promptfoo's power really lies in its simplicity. Everything is controlled by just one single configuration file written in YAML, which is just a human-readable data format. And this file has 3 key sections. You've got your prompts, those are your test inputs, your providers, those are the AI models you're testing, and your tests, which is where you define your pass-fail success criteria. And this test section, this is where the magic really happens. Assertions are how you make your tests objective and measurable. You can check for simple things like whether the output contains a specific keyword or if the word count is right. You can even use regex for more complex pattern matching. But the real game changer here is the LLM rubric. Let's start with a really simple example. Let's say your goal is for the AI to provide a summary that's less than 20 words. Well, you don't have to count it by hand every single time. You just write a word count assertion and boom, the test becomes automated, repeatable, and totally objective. Simple. But what about more abstract qualities, like, say, tone? This is where it gets really, really cool. You can actually use an AI to test another AI. With an LLM rubric assertion, you can define criteria like, is the response enthusiastic, or is the tone professional? For our tweet example, your rubric could check things like, is the language upbeat? Does it include a relevant emoji? Is it under 280 characters? This lets you test for quality that goes way beyond just simple facts. Now, as you start building these test suites, you're gonna hit some bumps in the road. It's just inevitable. But don't worry, they are usually pretty straightforward to fix once you know what to look for. So as you get going, you'll find that your test will break. And a lot of the time, it's going to be something really simple in your YAML file. YAML is super sensitive to spacing, so a misplaced indent or just a simple typo can bring everything to a grinding halt. You just have to get good at spotting those little syntax errors. A YAML formatter can be your best friend here. It'll help you spot those errors before they become a headache. Okay, so why does mastering all of these skills matter so much right now? Well, it's about way more than just finding bugs. It's about positioning yourself at the absolute forefront of the industry. This slide really just highlights the evolution of the QA role perfectly. Your existing skills in regression testing, in test case design, that's your foundation. But to stay ahead of the curve, you need to build on them. We're talking about new skills like prompt engineering, red teaming, which is basically just trying to trick the AI into failing in predictable ways, and testing for really important things like bias and hallucinations. So how does this translate to your career? Well, by adding these skills, these keywords to your resume and your LinkedIn profile, you're sending a crystal clear signal to recruiters that you're at the forefront of AI quality assurance. It shows you're ready for the next wave of software development. Because ultimately, your role evolves. You're no longer just a bug finder. You become a strategic partner. You become the expert who can assess not just functionality, but also accuracy, safety, and critical security risks. You get to guide the responsible development of AI. All right, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture here, because this is about so much more than just one tool. And this quote just nails it. While we focused on Promptfoo as a great practical example, this knowledge is completely tool agnostic. The specific tool you use might change from one job to the next, just like you might use different web browsers or different IDEs. So here's the crucial point. What truly makes you valuable is mastering the fundamental concepts of evaluating LLMs. The principles of structured, automated, and repeatable testing. They will outlast any single framework. That is the knowledge that builds a career. You now have a powerful, systematic way to think about AI quality. You have the mindset and the workflow to move beyond the chaos of manual testing and into the world of structured evaluation. So the only question left is, where are you going to apply it first?